So we're looking at effective primary care and what Starfield's definition of it is. But let's hone that down even a little bit more and talk about the doctor-patient relationship. This was an interesting article by Wasson and Moore. Again, this is in the 2006 study, where they were looking at what the doctor-patient relationship means to both the doctor and the patient. And what they found is that from the physician's perspective, the important parts of the doctor-patient relationship are achieving ambulatory care measures and prevention of chronic disease. I mean, that makes sense. That's what we're trained to do, so that makes a lot of sense. But from the patient's perspective, there are 4 different things that they were interested in. One is access. Can I be seen and can I afford it? Second one is efficiency. Do I have to wait for hours in the office, or what? You know, do they seem to waste my time? The third is continuity. Do I have a doctor who knows me and my medical history, or do I have to repeat myself every time I come in? And the fourth thing is self-confidence. Do I feel comfortable taking care of my own medical problems? Now, what's interesting is if you look at the difference, the doctor-patient relationship from the patient's perspective versus the doctor's perspective, there's almost a disconnect in what's important. And I think that's important, because when you look at Lacey's article for unspoken reasons for missed appointments, it's not just the emotions. Well, I get bad news, and so I don't want to go because this black mole on my arm might end up being melanoma. But the second most important thing is a perceived disrespect. Does the office respect me and my time? And so a lot of people will just not go to the doctor's office if they feel that the office is not respecting them. And that's important to know, because again, it goes back to what's important to them in their relationship with the doctor and the doctor's office. The other thing that I find is absolutely fascinating is this graph from Wasson and Benjamin's How's Your Health book. It was published in 2006. This is taken from page 20. But it's an interesting graph. When you look at it, this is health-related harms. So these are people who've been harmed by the medical system. It's self-reported. But what they're looking at is when you break it down into self-confidence, so confidence in my disease state, what you find is that if a patient is not confident in their disease state and they're getting bad information, then they have a 1 in 5 chance of having some medical health-related harm occurring to them, so 20% likelihood. If they're not confident in their disease state and they're getting good information, they still have about an 8% chance. On the opposite side of the spectrum, if they're getting really good information and they also have good self-confidence, the likelihood of a health-related harm is only 1%. What I found extra interesting though about this graph in particular is that even if you're getting the best information and you're not confident, again, you have about an error rate or harm rate of about 8%. If you're getting bad information but you're confident, you have about a 2% chance. So the likelihood of you being harmed is far more reliant on how confident you are in your disease state than it is on how wonderful the doctor is. This also, the other reason why you have to think about what's going on with the patient is, of course, disease has to be in the context of the patient. Evans and Stoddard has their determinants of health. This is back from 1990. And they listed 9 different determinants of health, of which disease is just one. The healthcare system is just one. But there are many other things. There's a sense of well-being, of prosperity, genetic endowment, of course, the physical environment in which they live, a whole bunch of different determinants of health that we have to actually think about, which goes way beyond just the disease itself. And again, we have to remember that the patient is the one with the disease. We can only treat the patient if we appropriately know the patient themselves. It's always taking the disease in the context of the patient. This goes back to Starfield's wonderful editorial in Family Practice Management in 2009, where she was saying that family medicine should lead the revolution in medicine and not just be content to follow. But she said this interesting thing, that family medicine is person-focused, not disease-focused. That is, the rationale for the discipline is based on the health of people and populations, not the one-by-one counting of diseases, their diagnoses, and their management. Which this puts the specialty in conflict with most of academic medicine, which consider health to be the absence of disease and ill health to be the sum of individual diseases. That's a pretty powerful statement. Basically, health is not necessarily the absence of disease. Ill health is not the sum of individual diseases. It all depends on what's going on in the context of the patient, and we have to keep that in mind, and family medicine does need to lead the charge on that. So when we look back at the doctor-patient relationship, and we start thinking about the doctor's perspective of, it's important to achieve the ambulatory care measures and prevention and work on prevention of chronic disease. Sure, I think that's important, but we have to also take into consideration what's important from the patient's perspective. And so we have to take into consideration, how is our access in our office? How efficient are we? Are we wasting our patients' time? Do we answer our patients' questions? Do we do the things that we need to do in order to further the relationship? The third myth, I'm going to stop here for the end of this YouTube video as well.